Microjig, maker of the gripper. Work safer, work smarter.
In the past, I've been asked if it's possible to align the blade of your miter saw to the fence by using a dial indicator. In this video, I'm going to find out if I can do it. Usually I'm not making cuts at my miter saw that would require a high degree of accuracy, but I know that there are people out there that do require a high degree of accuracy with this kind of tool, so I thought I would make a quick jig that would hold the dial indicator and would allow you to do this. One of the problems associated with aligning the blade of a miter saw to the fence using a square is that when you push the square up against the blade and have it resting against the fence, the teeth start to get in the way. So by using a square, it's really tough to get a good alignment. But I suppose if you wanted to and you had a plate, a flat metal plate, you could replace the blade with a plate and then do the alignment, but I think there's a better way. In order for this jig to work properly, we need to start with a really nice flat edge, and to do that I'm going to use my joiner. But if you don't have a joiner, you could use a hand plane. Now I'm just going to cross cut this board down to 9 inches. So the next thing I'm going to do is attach a block of wood to the top of this board to hold a screw. I want the screw in this board to be the same distance from this board as the tip of the plunger is to the top of the board. So I'm going to measure this distance and then I'm going to pre-drill for a hole on this piece of scrap. I went ahead and put another screw hole closer to this edge, so we won't use the first one. With the glue completely dry, I'm going to flush these two edges at the table saw. I'm going to sink an oval head wood screw about halfway into this pre-drilled hole. I'm going to attach the dial indicator into a pre-drilled hole, and I want the tip of the plunger to extend a little bit past the top of the screw. But you could always adjust the height of the screw if you don't get it right. So that's it for the construction of the jig. All that's left to do now is to calibrate it. And what we need to do is to align these 2 points so that they are 90 degrees to this face. And to do that, I'm going to use a nice square that has a fat edge. Now this square is perfect for registering off of the top of a dial indicator plunger. Now if you'd like to buy your own fat edge square, I'll have a link in the description. So all that's left to do now is to calibrate this jig to 90 degrees. What we need to do is to get this screw and the tip of this plunger a perfect 90 degrees to this edge. And to do that, I have the jig on a nice flat surface, and I have a couple spacers in the back that are going to help me to elevate the square off of the surface so that they can line up with the head of the screw and the plunger. All I need to do is to push the square up against the edge of the jig and slide the square back until the square makes contact with the screw. Now all I need to do is to adjust the face of the dial indicator to 0. Right there. Now the tip of the plunger and the tip of the screw are a perfect 90 degrees to this edge. So now we are calibrated to 90 degrees. Using this jig to align your miter saw to your fence to 90 degrees is really easy to use. All you have to do is take this jig and put it up against your fence with the miter saw unplugged and just slide the jig into the side of the blade so that the screw makes contact with the side of the blade. Then you'll take a reading on the dial indicator, and if it doesn't read 0, your miter saw is not square. My saw is off by 30,000ths of an inch, so that equates to about 0.37 degrees that my miter saw is off from 90. Or another way of saying that, my miter saw blade is at 89.63 degrees. So by using this jig, I can make adjustments to my fence to bring this into better alignment. As you're making the adjustments to your fence, you're going to want to take the reading off of the blade at the same spot each time. So go ahead and take a Sharpie and put a dot on your miter saw blade so that you can register the dial indicator from the same spot each time. That's just in case you accidentally rotate the blade during the adjustment of the fence. So if you're a little geeky like me and you want to know how I converted the distance from the dial indicator plunger into an angle error, all you need to do is measure the distance between the tip of the plunger of the dial indicator and the tip of the screw, and you divide that number into the distance we got for the error, and you take the arc sine of that ratio, and that will give you the angle that you're off from 90 degrees. I told you it was geeky. So that's all I've got for you guys. I hope you find that useful, or at least I hope you found the video halfway interesting to watch. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I hope you'll consider subscribing. And if you'd like to, you can like my Facebook page and you can stay up to date with everything Garage Woodworks. And if you really want to, you can go to my website at GarageWoodworks.com and you can subscribe to my newsletter. Thanks for watching, guys. I want that screw to be the same distance from the top of this board to the tip of the plunger.